We just wanted to bring you on, and I know that you're following very closely the gradual reopening of the island that's supposed to happen on Monday. So what have you got for us?
Well, so far we're still awaiting the official word from the governor to declare it P-Core 2 on Monday. But I think, as you know, everybody's pretty much operating under that assumption that on Monday there will be additional non-essential businesses that will be allowed to open. I think Bree was reading off a list of those earlier today. So in addition to those essential businesses that have been operating throughout the crisis, there will be additional businesses, including beauty parlors, barbershops, salons, and those other businesses. And they did point out that because the governor's team met with the Chamber of Commerce and the Women's Chamber of Commerce yesterday to go over what the criteria is for reopening and to answer some of the questions that were sent in earlier from all the different businesses. But basically, if you wanted to break it down into its simplest terms, public health is in charge because this is a public health emergency. They're the ones that came up with the criteria, and they have two concerns, basically, is that you must ensure the safety of the customers, and you must ensure the safety of your employees. And so they set out a bunch of different criteria that I think Ricky Hernandez went over. And so for businesses, and they're not doing individual businesses, they're doing it by industry. So, and of course, each industry, each business has different ways of operating. So let me use golf as an example, just randomly picking golf. So in a golf business, the customers where they would be subject to possible infection would be in a cart. Typically, when you're in a golf course, you play, there's two to a cart. You sit next to each other and drive to your golf ball. So what the golf industry would say was that, okay, in order to ensure social distancing, we'll only let one person ride in the cart. And like you pick up a metal flag that's where the golf hole is, that can remain in the hole. That they wouldn't be allowed to, golfers wouldn't be allowed to pull the golf pin out of the hole, which actually is pretty good because that's part of the new rules of golf anyway. So those little unique things to businesses are what they need to submit to public health, and public health will review that and see if that meets muster with what they're wanting to do, and then they'll say, okay, business, this industry rather, can open as well. So even if they're not going to allow golf courses, for example, to open on Monday, doesn't mean that they won't be able to do so by Wednesday, as long as they submit those documents that they will agree to adhere to public health and public health consensus blessing. That's kind of a simplified way of explaining it, you have to understand it.
Yeah, and I raised the question for all the mothers out there who are going to be, observing Mother's Day this weekend. What about these moms who want to go golfing?
Yeah.
What about these moms who want to go golfing?
Oh, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, so that was the discussion yesterday at the Chamber of Commerce and the Women's Chamber of Commerce held for their members with the governor's team, recovery advisory panel. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, that's what I was going to say.
Okay, I wanted to ask about the SES meeting, and what was your takeaway from that?
That was a marathon.
Yeah, it was long. We're talking about the Special Economic Services meeting for those of you who aren't familiar.
Yeah, so the governor's fiscal team was there. Lester Carlson, Ed Byrne, Daphne Shimizu was there. Ricky Hernandez. Did I say Ed Byrne's name? And then also the OFB, Office of Finance and Budget. Ricky Hernandez was there. He actually used to be the head of the Office of Finance and Budget. It's now Steve Guerrero. And then you put them in with all of these others, all of these senators, and all of them, of course, have their own questions. So it did last quite a long time.
Right.
And there's a lot there. What we used yesterday was just an exchange between Lester and Senator Therese over what she was trying to get a better understanding, I think, of what the budget picture is and where we're going to end at the end of this fiscal year, which of course will be on September 30th. And what I got out of that was that Lester was saying that we're anticipating about an $8 million deficit, which I think is, that sounds pretty good. I mean, given all of the revenue that we're not going to be making since March, that we're only going to be short $8 million, and that's what I understood. And so Teresa was trying to find out why that number, and Lester was explaining that I think there was a $20 million at this point that's above projected revenue. So they were projecting a $28 million shortfall, but because we have $20 million in revenue above what was projected, that would amount to a $7 or $8 million shortfall at the end of September, given the conditions that they understand at this particular point. That's what I.
Mm-hmm. Did they seem to buy that?
You would have to ask them.
Oh, you don't want to editorialize today?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how that goes, because and that's going to be really the issue going forward. I mean, no one knows.
Mm-hmm.
We can pretty much generalize that.
Someone knows.
Yeah, someone knows. They just ain't telling.
Yeah, you can pretty much figure out that our revenue is going to be way down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Thanks, Ness. We just wanted to bring you on and find out. So, what else are you working on for today?
Well, there's a couple of oversight hearings at the legislature.
Right.
At what time is it now? 9 o'clock starts. Senator Trilera, he is bringing in public health to talk about budget specifically as how it relates to surveillance and contact tracing and services for vulnerable populations. And then I think the afternoon hearing is on a bill to prevent evictions during emergencies, which the governor has already done through executive order.
Right.
So those are a couple of things. And hopefully, I'm thinking the governor might have a press conference today to announce possibly Core 2 on Monday, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, I did put in a message to the acting chief of staff, John Jr., if there was I haven't got a reply yet, so we'll let you know.
Yeah, because people are going to want to know, what are the guidelines and all the information, especially if they don't have one over the weekend. So.
Yeah. Right,
all right.
Exactly.
Okay,
guys.
Thanks, Ness. All right.
Okay.
8:44. Thank you so much, Nestor. We have Senator Kelly Marsh Titano on the line. I want to get her on because